Hello everyone. A friend of mine recently made a comment to me about the TV in this day and age, and it raised something really important that I hadn't even thought about, but I'd like to bring to your attention because it is something to be aware of while raising your children. And that is, at the moment, many of the TV shows we have here in Australia are all about judging. If you think about it, we have MasterChef, where there's a whole bunch of different people doing their best at cooking some incredibly amazing meals. And then the judges go, well, it's not that tasty, or it's not that colourful, or whatever. I don't actually watch the MasterChef ones or any of the cooking shows. And then we have The Voice, and we have three very professional judges who are in the business, so they know what they're talking about, judging people who have never possibly been on stage before, some have, some haven't, and telling them what's good and bad about them. We have renovation shows where you do your best renovation and some judges come along and say, no, well, I don't like your colour choice or your styling choices, and give you a grade. And in some of them, they also have the owners of the properties come back and say, oh, look, I don't know about your taste, but it's really different from mine, and I'm only going to give you a 2 out of 10 for that. And we also have The Biggest Loser. That's another one. Oh, you're doing your best to lose all this weight, and yeah, you've lost 5 kilos, but you know what? You should have lost 6 this week, so yeah, you're just not up to scratch. And we had The Apprentice, where you're trying to work for someone else, and nope, sorry, you're fired. And there's so many other shows out there. There was one where I don't recall the name of it, but I know that I think it was you were letting the team down if you didn't have all your general knowledge answers, and you got kicked out. And there's Big Brother, you get kicked out of the house if you're not up to scratch. And all these shows are all about judging. It's no wonder that our poor kids are learning how to judge others and things that are superficial. It's so unfortunate. So having her bring that to my attention, which is why I'd like to bring it to your attention, is just to be mindful about what your children are watching on TV, because a lot of these things are very subjective, and what's one person's cup of tea is not necessarily someone else's cup of tea. And those cooks, I'd be amazed to have any one of those meals come to my house, because I think they're brilliant. And some of those singers, they may not make it on the show or make it to #1 or might get cut down, but they're still a better singer than me. And these things are subjective. And that's what I don't like about judging, is it's subjective. It's up to the individual, and we need to be promoting how well an individual's doing for themselves, and maybe how much better they've done previously, and that kind of thing. And that's how I'm raising my daughter, not to look at others and compare herself with other people, or even with what I think is anything, but what she thinks. So when she draws her great artworks, I'll say, oh, that's brilliant, wow, you're doing a really good job, and explain to me your picture and tell me how you've done this, and what do you think, what do you like about it? That's a great use of colour. And I really commend what she's doing, and I'll tell her, oh, you've improved so much. Last week you weren't putting eyes in your faces, and this week you are. Or last week you only used one colour, and this week you're using so many more colours. And I'll really pick out the bits of her improvement and where she's compared, because the only comparisons we should make are with ourselves, not with other people, but where we were in comparison to where we are now. And so the TV shows that these kids are watching, where we're getting judged, really isn't helping their self-esteem. So I would like you to just be aware of the shows you're letting your kids watch, and sure, they might be amusing, but they might actually be killing your kids' self-esteem, like The Biggest Loser. They're still losing weight and they're doing amazing. Just because they're not losing the same amount of weight as the next person, they've still lost more weight than when they started out. So that's my sort of tip, is make an effort to commend your child on how much they're improving from how much they were before, rather than comparing them to someone else or judging them based on your personal belief system. So thanks very much for watching today. Till next time. Bye.